Good morning, everybody. We are here with the team in El Mirador farm. I can show you here that this farm has a fantastic view of Lebanon. About a month and a half ago, we did a project with the local farmer and with the Middlebury Institute of International Studies and Quinta Esencia organization, implementing erosion control here on the Mirador farm. Today we're back again to review how the process is going, and I want to show you guys a little bit, maybe a few lessons we can learn. This area has been affected by erosion, so we're not doing any sort of preventative measures at this point, which is normally where we work on our farm with preventing these sorts of things before they happen. Right now we are working to correct and prevent further destruction, and as these things go downhill, they can damage roads, houses, people, and hopefully bring back some ecological life to the soil and the ecosystem. Let's check it out. Alright, we're a little higher up now. We're here at one of these trinchos, and we can see now. Look at what's happening underneath here. Let me take you up over the top, and you can see that the water does continue to flow. It forms channels in the mountain, and it's maybe even eroded below some of our trinchos, but the trinchos are doing their work. They're starting to fill with rocks. The rocks are stopping up, and there's holes. The water will get through one way or the other. If it does, the trincho does stop up, it'll fill up and go around the outside. So we can see underneath here, in this case, we do have some air holes, but they're all stopped up with rocks getting in there, and that is exactly what we want. Those rocks would be down in the river or even in the next apartment if we hadn't built these trinchos. So we're already retaining some soil. And we've got some good news here. We've planted in front of each of these trinchos several cuttings, Nazareno cuttings, and almost all of them are sprouting. We have some really good news. We've got this one down in the channel. The Nazareno Tibuchia ubigiana is a really good cutting. Most of them, 95+% of them, will germinate, will root. And it has this really great, as long as they can get started, which is pretty easy to do, they have this really great characteristic, which is that they'll continue to root. The branches will, if they fall on the ground, they'll root too. If there happens to be more derrumbe, more sliding, or mudslide, or there's movement because it's loose, it'll slide with it, but wherever it lands, however it tips, however it ends up, it'll continue to root. So it's a great ally for these erosion control activities that we do. And so that's why we use it so much. And in front of all of the trincheros, of these dividers that you see, and we're reviewing, we planted at least 3 cuttings of the Nazareno. Now another thing that we're doing here today, we've brought this Alcaparro chaparro. This is a nitrogen fixing bean. It's kind of wild, it's got a pretty flower, and we've brought a couple hundred seeds, and we're just looking for some shallow points where there's not a ton of water flow. I'm going to show you one right here. So we've got this damaged and degraded space. I'm just going to let a couple of seeds go here, push them in less than a centimeter, cover them up a little bit, and they should do just fine. A third one fell out. That'll be fine. We'll push that in there. There you go. And we're in the rainy season. It is El Nino, so we're not getting quite as much rain as usual, but it's still quite a bit of rain. This is a very humid Andean ecosystem. And so let's go a little further up and keep exploring this monitoring of the erosion control workshop. Here from up above, let's take a look at this trinchero. We can see there is a hole on this side here. The water's made it through, but look at all of this soil that we've managed to retain, right? That all would end up down in the river, all the way down in the river, if it hadn't been for this. So we are retaining soil, and this is an area where we're going to look to plant these seeds. And so we're looking into that. We're going to be spreading some seeds. We've also brought cuttings, more cuttings, a few more cuttings. The client was very happy with the work that we've done. And so they're going to continue sponsoring some more planting. And we, thanks to the Middlebury Institute, we still have the budget to continue monitoring, which is something that a lot of projects forget about. It's not just doing the work. It's monitoring and coming back, filling in anything, holes that have appeared. And so we're very excited about this. And, you know, here I'm being a journalist, but the real work is going on behind me and continues. And they wouldn't tell me I'm not doing real work. But I think sharing and the communication process behind what we're doing here is one of the most important parts. Obviously, the success of the ecological restoration and the erosion control is essential, because if it's a failure, then no one wants to see how you did it. But since we are seeing some success, we definitely want to document this, because this is very repeatable, replicatable activity that is very pertinent in areas like we have, where there, because of misunderstandings and poor management on some of these steep slopes. These steep slopes are traditionally very fertile. So why don't we chop down everything down and plant more crops? Well, this is why. You need mixed systems, you need agroforestry systems. They're fertile, they do produce food and crops. But you have to integrate trees, contours. You have to somehow make sure that you don't lose all of your topsoil in one rainy night. And thank goodness in this case, it was just a road that got covered up, and brought a bulldozer and we're able to stop. We're able to open that up pretty quickly. But in the case, and there have been cases of people's houses and even people's lives being lost in these sorts of earth motion, landslide type things. So we'll keep you up to date. We're still planting. The client is happy. I think the earth is happy. And we hope to repeat this, and have any one of you interested out there can repeat this in your own areas. It's a little bit of work, but it is economically viable to keep your soil, the lifeblood of your farm, intact. And so if you haven't had any landslides yet, check out my other videos on biomass contours to make sure you're keeping your soil on your farm. See you next time.